This is a peace plan that has not just been accepted by Israel, but it has been applauded by Muslim and Arab countries around the world. It has been applauded by European leaders around the world. Virtually everyone in the world is supportive of this plan. We are very proud of that plan, and we hope Hamas will accept it.
So the clock is ticking for Hamas to agree to President Trump's 20-point peace plan for Gaza. Arab leaders pushing the terror group to accept this deal by tonight. That is according to reporting from the Wall Street Journal. We're also learning new details about how the president got the Arab nations on board. A U.S. official telling Axios that Israel's failed attack on Hamas leaders in Qatar 3 weeks ago, quote, changed the regional dynamics. It opened the door for a real discussion about how to end the war in Gaza. That's an interesting piece. Talks about Witkoff and Kushner and how they started to engineer this plan and put it together. With that, we bring in U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Michael Waltz, also retired Green Beret, of course, and great to have you here, Ambassador Waltz. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks, Mom.
I'm hoping to get a few different topics in here, but let me get your take on what has happened here and if you think there is real momentum, and why would Hamas give up the only leverage that they have, which is these 20 human beings?
Well, what a change, what a shift just in the last week that only President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff and his team could pull off. Just a week ago, you had Macron and the Brits and others recognizing some sort of Palestinian state. I don't know. And all the pressure on Israel. And now, just a short time later, you have all of the Arab nations. You have Muslim majority countries like Indonesia and Turkey all agreeing to President Trump's plan, a real plan, 20 points put on the table to end the war, free the hostages, rebuild Gaza, and importantly, as we said in the UN today, make sure this never happens again with the disarming of Hamas and the destruction of Hamas. So, look, at the end of the day, it's going to be about making sure this can never happen again. And the message that came loud and clear from the Oval Office this week, where, by the way, the president had Prime Minister Netanyahu call the Qataris and apologize right there from the Oval Office for that strike, is that this has to get done, and it's going to get done, as the president said, the easy way or the hard way.
So the suggestion in the Axios reporting is this. Trump told Bibi Netanyahu in no uncertain terms, take it or leave it. And leave it means we walk away from you in terms of agreeing to this plan. This is the plan, and there were some changes made on the edges by both sides in terms of what we understand. But it appears, according to this piece, that the president has lost some patience with the leadership in Israel, and that he wants this done, and he does not want to hear that that they're not going to stand by this plan. What do you say to that?
Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu said it right there from the White House. No president has been better for Israel ever, and certainly in his lifetime. Between the recognizing Jerusalem as the capital, the Golan Heights, taking out Iran's nuclear program, and on and on. So certainly, President Trump has been good for Israel, unlike any other president. And when he says, look, you've got to swallow some tough pills so that we end this war, we end the suffering, we get the hostages out, I think Prime Minister Netanyahu was wise to listen.
Yeah. Interesting. I want to play this from President Trump at the UN, sort of scolding the body last week. Let's watch.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help. Later, I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. What is the purpose of the United Nations?
It's an excellent question. So now you are there. We're very glad to have you here in New York. What is the purpose of the United Nations, Ambassador Waltz?
Well, as President Trump said, and I've said to my colleagues all week long, we have to get the UN, and said to the Secretary General, we have to get the UN back to basics of promoting peace, enforcing peace, preventing wars. We have to cut out all of this other nonsense. They have 7 agencies independent agencies focused on climate. There is this kind of war with ESG on American energy and fossil fuel producers, this obsession with gender. And I mean, we see this in our own government. It's on steroids.
Is there
at the UN.
to that at the UN?
There is. And President Trump is using the leverage that he has, which is our taxpayer contributions. We are the largest contributor, and we've made it very clear that's very much on the table. But President Trump also sees, and I want the viewers to hear this, the real potential. There has to be one place in the world where everyone can come together and talk. He's the president of peace. He puts diplomacy first. And the UN is that forum, should be that forum, and I think under his leadership, he can be again, and I'd be proud with my team to be the tip of the spear for President Trump's diplomacy. There's also, very importantly, there's all kinds of these international bodies that affect our economy, that touch standards for AI, aviation, space, telecommunications, international shipping. If we're not present there, blocking and tackling, the Chinese, the Russians, and the rest of the world will be. So, just as we want to deregulate and keep the federal government out of their way, we certainly want to keep this globalist multinational governments out of the way, too.
Two quick things before we let you head back to over there to Turtle Bay. Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, facing criminal charges in the United States, according to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. He calls him a fugitive from American justice. Where is this going? Well, look, I think the president's been clear. Secretary Rubio has been clear that these cartels, these gangs, these drugs that are killing hundreds of thousands, if not millions over time of Americans are a clear national security threat. It's a priority for the president and secretary. We in the UN Security Council just took action yesterday on the gangs that have taken over Haiti right off Florida's shores. These gangs are in coordination with all of these transnational groups. They're shipping drugs, money, weapons. They're destabilizing the entire region. Will we be bombing those boats too?
Well, we just created, under the umbrella of the UN, the Gang Suppression Force. And two principles there. One, unlike the past, we're going to go on offense. When you have gang leaders like Barbecue that are destabilizing so much of our region right off our shores. But number two, the burden sharing. The U.S. shouldn't have to do all of this alone. So we have the Kenyans, Panama, countries from the region also stepping up. And that's a key principle of the president's America First policy is help out. And everyone needs to step up.
Decades ago, the UN was involved in military action. Would the UN support taking out these gang boats from Haiti that are bringing these dangerous things to our shores?
Well, that's the action of our great U.S. Navy, but they did just authorize, the Security Council just authorized yesterday to go a mandate and rules of engagement to go on offense on these gangs.
All right. We look forward to seeing your work at the United Nations, and we hope you'll come back soon and talk about it with us. Thank you very much, Ambassador Waltz.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.